Hi, everybody. I'm Ralph Sheheen. Welcome to our offices here at Speed Sport in Charlotte, North Carolina. So what do you do when you retire, when you're at the top of your game? Well, if you're in the stick and ball world, a lot of those guys end up becoming announcers, maybe trying out that world, get into the broadcasting business. But what about as a racer? Because as a racer, your career can go much longer usually than in the stick and ball world, even though Tom Brady went into his 40s, right? Well, that was the question for our guest here today. Jason Meyers joins us. Jason, the two-time World of Outlaw champion. You hung up your helmet. You got busy doing a business in the construction world, but now you've found something else that's gotten you interested. You're taking over the reins of Sander Engineering, a long-time, very well-known racing component business. Why did you make this step now?
Well, it's something that when I retired from racing in 2012, I had actually gone down and met with Glenn. I've been a customer now for over 25 years. And I grew up, a lot of people probably don't know, I grew up in a machine shop. My brother and I grew up, my stepfather had a machine shop. We did everything from forming and fabricating to CNC machining and milling. And I just have always had a passion for it. Many people know that when we had our own race team, or still do, but we have worked with Steve Kent to build our own chassis, and we have built our own wings and built a lot of our own components. And it's just an interest I had. So I met with Glenn about 10 years ago now, and we talked about the opportunity, and things didn't come together for, a couple different reasons at that time. And I had some other interests as well in the construction world. So I decided to go down that path. We spent a couple of years with my dad and learning from him, and then went out on our own. My wife and I started Meyers Constructors in 2016. And throughout all that time, Glenn and I have kept in contact. Obviously, we're still a customer. And it seems like every 2 to 3 years he would call me. And those who know Glenn know that, he's a man of, I wouldn't say few words, like he has a lot to say, but always very quick and to the point. And he would call and say, "Hey, you still interested in my business?" And my response always was, "I'm interested, but man, my plate's full." And so, fast forward 10 years, and through a few conversations, we started talking again this August, and kind of talked about the opportunity, and it kind of made sense for me. Some things have developed here in our construction company. I've got a great team that we've built over the years that is doing a great job. And for once in the last 10 years, I had a little bit of time on my plate, and much to my wife's dismay, I needed to fill that with something. So time just kind of worked out. We started talking about it again. Glenn's at 75 years old now, still loves what he does. He's still there every day, and he's still excellent at what he does. It's amazing the amount of information in his head. And so we put something together. We worked on it. We finalized it on January 15th. And now the proud owner of just a great name, a great product, and really excited about the opportunity to not only take on and continue Glenn's legacy, but just even to work alongside him. We got a commitment for the next 12 months to work together. And I don't really I see that probably going further than that, because Glenn's so passionate about what he does. And I'm passionate about working with him to carry his legacy on.
Well, look, Glenn is a great guy, no doubt about it. But let's separate that for a second. As you mentioned, you obviously could have gotten involved in any part of the sprint car world, which is where your passion lies. You've messed around with chassis and wings and suspensions and so forth. You could have picked any one of those components or a whole car and started up a business that way. I'm sure there's a lot of guys who would have been more than willing to sell you their brand name and get you involved in their business and bring your knowledge along as well. What was it about the wheel industry that attracted you over, say, shock springs or wings?
So a couple different things. So one of them is, Glenn was getting towards the retirement age, and it's the best product on the market. There is no other product in the open wheel market that is even close to similar of what Glenn makes. The quality, the consistency, the strength, and there's nothing else out there. So for me as a customer, if I didn't do something here, it was going to go away. So that's one aspect of it. Secondly is it's a difficult business. And, it might sound bad to most people, but to me, it's a challenge. To me, it's exciting. It's something that, frankly, I don't think just anybody can do. I don't think just any group of people can go out and do. It's very difficult. There's a lot of processes to it. And you really got to tie a lot of people together to make it happen, which my passion is in building teams, whether it was building a race team, building a construction team, building a church team, building whatever team, building a soccer team at my kid's school. My passion is in bringing the best people I possibly can together and creating the best possible result. So for me, this is another one of those challenges. And when I started having this conversation with Glenn again, I talked with Glenn, who I was very excited to work with. And then I talked with Dominic Scelzi, who's going to be a part of this, who got excited about it. Dominic's a great guy. I love Dominic. I love his passion. And then I reached out and spoke to a friend of mine that I'd known for 35 years, who's an incredible machinist and who has a racing background, and said, yeah, I'd love to, I'm getting close to retirement. I would love to help build that business up. My brother, who's involved in our construction team, had a passion. So immediately, I came home to my wife and I'm like, I have to do it, honey. And of course, her response was, you don't have to do anything. But for me, really, I do, because I feel that passion of getting those great people together. So really, there's things kind of aligned of getting some great people together that I know are up to the task, and there's a challenge. So those are the things that really drive me. And it's something it's needed in our industry right now. I think there's a lot of businesses, you and I spoke about this a week ago, about there's a lot of racing businesses that don't have a succession plan, that make great products that the industry has relied on for years, and there's no succession plan in place. So Doug Lane, who's been a sponsor of our race team and a mentor for me for many years, I know has become a part of a lot of different businesses in the industry, as well as some other racers out there that have got involved in the promoting side. So, I think we owe it to this sport. If you really want to go to that level, we owe it to the sport to continue what it gave us so many great things. It gave me the foundation that I have in my career and in life. And this is my opportunity this is, I think, where I fit to be able to. Having the race team has been great. Working with Cory Day and building that, I've really enjoyed. I still do. And we're looking forward to what he's going to do. And this is another way for me to give what I know and what I'm good at to the sport, and be able to provide a great product to racers like myself that are out there trying to put great race teams together with great products and win championships.
Okay, let's talk about those products. So Standard Engineering, very well known in the open wheel world as far as providing great wheels for the racers, whether it's sprint cars or midgets. Also have dabbled in drag racing. Where is the Sander brand going?
So our intent in what we've talked to a lot of customers since we've taken over the reins, and our intent is to do nothing more than to expand what Glenn has built. So, Glenn has slowed down over the last couple of years, and we feel like the open wheel, the sprint car and midget market is underserved. We're also looking at the micro midget world. I myself am a car owner right now in the sprint car world and in the 600cc micros and in the junior sprint. My son's racing a junior sprint now. So I grew up in all those markets and I know those markets well. And I think they're underserved of having a great product. There's lots of products out there, but having a really great product. And in the drag racing world, which is new to me, Glenn's got a lot of experience there. And obviously with Dominic's involvement, Dominic will be a very big role both in the open wheel market and in the drag race world. We're excited to expand all of those markets. So really our focus here is we're investing in new machinery to be able to increase production and be able to make them as efficient as possible, so we can control the price point and keep it as tight as possible. Material, especially over the last 2 or 3 years, some of the material to build wheels and other components are 3 to 4 times what they cost just a few years ago. So we've got to be very creative on how we manufacture, and we're going to pull out all the stops when it comes to that and making great products. So we definitely will work on expanding the drag race market, expanding the open wheel market. And Glenn has some other ideas of some different kind of street racing markets and things of that nature. And as we talked about earlier, even the street market, like there are some people that have bought some of our products. So we'll look to those markets, I think, over the next 12 months and see what opportunity is out there. But right now we're going to focus on filling the void that's in the market. I know even myself, when I order sprint car components right now, like they take sometimes 6 weeks, sometimes 6 months to get. And where we're headed towards first and foremost is to fill any back orders we have, and then turn around and work towards filling the shelf with product to where, let's face it, we're all used to Amazon, right? So when you order your wheel tonight, I want to ship it tomorrow. I'm not going to say that we're going to be there by March 1st, but in this next 12 months, we will get to that point where we can fulfill people's needs. When they place an order, they will get their product very timely.
Well, that's awesome. And obviously you're going to keep the race team going. Cory Day, you talked about him. You're a big supporter growing up and coming out of Northern California. Tell me a little bit about what you're doing with the race team there and how you're going to support sprint car racing throughout Northern California with your team.
Well, as we talked about earlier, I'm really excited about what Peter Murphy and Kevin Rudine are doing out here on the West Coast for sprint car racing in general, and specifically 410 sprint car racing. Kevin's made some very large investments up in the Pacific Northwest. Peter has put a ton of investment and time into the California area here, both at Hanford, and he's also working with Peter up at the Northwest Tract as well, up at Skagit. So what those two are doing together, we are going to support that with our race team this year. We're going to run Cory Day for the NARC championship. We didn't run every race last year. We kind of did some Midwest stuff and the West Coast. So this year we're going to focus on that championship as well as a Midwest tour as well. So we'll go back in mid to late July and we'll pick up with the All-Stars for about a week in Missouri. And then we'll pick up with the Outlaws at the Ironman. And then our plan is to race with the Outlaws through the Nationals and all the way back to California. So we'll have about a 60 race schedule, weather permitting. And I'm excited about what Cory's doing. I'm getting to pour some of the things into him that I was able to do in my career. And it's not just, he obviously is a very talented racer. He has the lineage of his dad, Ronnie Day, who was a great racer. And Bronny and myself are both pouring everything we possibly can into him but not just from driving. So from driving, from the equipment, from understanding the race car and how to work on it. We have rules and guidelines within our team of how much he's got to be at the race shop and what his participation level needs to be. I've also got Tim Hamill, who was a coach to me. He's a sports kinesiology professor at Fresno State here. I worked with him the final 3 years of my career when I was racing, and he works in my business now and is also working with Cory on just the coaching of communication and the things that go along with being a great race car driver and a great teammate. You can be a great driver and not be a good teammate. And so really focusing on those things with him. And I'm excited about Cory. He has the God-given talent of being a phenomenal race car driver. And by working with these people working with him, I'm really excited about what I think will be able to do in this sport, and who knows where to take him.
Well, you got a lot on your plate going forward, that's for sure. If folks are interested in finding out about Sander Engineering and your products, where do they go?
So nothing's changing right now. So the number that everybody knows in Torrance, California, the 310-534-1210, you can reach myself, Jaron, our general manager, or Glenn himself that is still there every day. And our website is still Glenn Sander Engineering. You can find all of our products there. Also available through Motor State and Speedway, and going to be coming to a lot of different areas here as we work on it through the next coming months. So if there's a need that hasn't been filled, you let us know and we're going to work hard to fulfill it for you.
Well, congratulations, Jason. This is exciting news for the entire sprint car and drag racing world, and even for the street scene. I can't wait to see what those Sander wheels look like on the street. That's going to be fun. Good luck with the NARC series and all the sprint car stuff with Cory Day too, and best of luck trying to keep Dominic Scelzi under control. That might be your toughest challenge of all. Okay, folks, there you go. Jason Meyers, the two-time World of Outlaw champ, got a lot going on. And he's keeping that great brand name of Sander Engineering alive and well in the world of open wheel racing. I'm Ralph Sheheen. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon.